Good evening to you, Chris. How are you? You've been enjoying practice for this circuit?
I actually have. I've realised that compared to last year, I've seemed to have got some pace on the option tyres, so I'm happy for GP2 Round. How about you?
Yeah, feeling quite comfortable in my qualifying. I'm getting very close to the 123s at the moment, so looking to be quite quick, hopefully.
Well, that's very good news to hear. Obviously, yesterday, F1 Division 100%. They did get in the 23s, 3 drivers, CRU, XRL Fearless and Oval XT. And D3, you've got Stevo. If he was to qualify, you could easily get into
Well, Mr. Stevo, hopefully he can. Well, from the practice I've done, he's been quickest, getting a 24/7 in the primes, which should get him into 123s on the options if he puts in a good lap, which I expect him to.
Absolutely. Well, I'm on the front of the train with XRL Stuart going through turn 1. Still very wide on the exit of turn 2 there. He's coming up to the start of the long straight, a very long straight, probably one of the longest in the calendar. DRS halfway down, of course. And also, as a third Stuart tonight, we are joined by Crazyfish 1234. Good evening, Crazyfish.
Good evening. How are we all tonight?
Quietly confident, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have to do too much writing, I'm hoping.
It's not writing for me, it's good old typing on my laptop.
Unfortunately I can't do that, I've got to try and watch the stream at the same time.
Well, Stuart's just coming through towards the middle part of the middle sector, just going through turns 9 and 10 now, going around the long turn 11. You can easily go wide, stays within the track limits, is good, and goes around turn 12, again another place you can go wide. We expect to see that in the race, but he stays within the track limits here. And turn 14, he does go off the track though. And he's also cut the falling corner, and he comes across the line, and he does a 24/7. That's a sort of middle pace lap, I'd imagine, from what we saw in the F1 division yesterday, and obviously XRL Stuart being in that group drivers.
Be expecting a lot quicker of a lap from him personally, as he should be looking to be one of the people getting into the 123s actually.
Absolutely, championship leader of course, and obviously having a terrible run out in Japan from last week. Second time this season he has not managed to finish a race from starting it, and already he's been beaten by pole position by Jamie 2503. He's already in the 23, so 23.9. That's an incredible lap. He seems to be on a good run of form since we've come into the Asia's part of the track.
Seems to definitely suit his driving a lot more than previously from the start of their calendar, but it's all obviously going to be down to corner cuts and his track extends on this track if he can keep it in the right lines.
Absolutely, and he's got a Ferrari alongside him who looks like he's on an outlap, and Jamie allows him to go through. Let's try and find someone
on Magic Milk at the moment, and he's on the main straight. Looks like he's going to use the rest of his curves. Well no, he uses just over half of it. Went into the final corner of sector 1, brakes nice and late, turns in just at the right time, keeps it right in between the white lines, but almost loses it because of the curb. Now into the fast corners, left, right, can he keep it in just as it's nice and clean? Oh, cuts the corner slightly and looks like it extended, but it's very close and marginal. The fast right hander keeps that nice and clean, doesn't go too far out. And he's gone then wide, track extended into turn 12. See what sort of time he gets.
Back down at 125.4 on the prime tyres, currently in fifth place. Obviously, race strategy, we're all doing 50% here in the party. Us in GP3 and Crazyfish down F5, possibly getting in a GP3 or possibly even an F4 seat, depending on how he feels. And obviously race strategy, very important. how many stops would you imagine you see these guys doing tonight?
Well, I'd sort of be expecting a 3-stop, but for the people who are qualifying on the options, they might be looking towards doing 1 option and 3 primes, and for people who don't qualify, they'll be looking at 2 options and 2 primes. And now that's going to come down to people who don't qualify, whether they can get through the pack quickly and make those fresher tyres be more of an option to them to have to put in fast laps. But what would you personally do? Would you look to try and overextend some of the tyres if you qualify on options to do 2 option wins?
It's a hard one. Tyre wear is very high here. I've done a race where I was getting a couple of drivers in to the leagues, and I did a one on options, started on options, did a 3-stop, managed to win the race. But I tell you what, the problem that drivers have got is the undercut, and it is so powerful around here. Gain at least 2, 3, 4 seconds if the driver messed up on his in lap.
Currently on board with Mr. Steve-O now, who's coming onto the main straight. It's on the prime tyre, surprisingly. I thought we'd been looking for the options to try and get ahead of most people if he wants a good result today. He's used just over half his curves. It's quite surprising. I'd expect most people to go for the options around here. There can be such a big of a difference if you do start on the primes.
He's reserved from GP3, currently in 3rd place, I believe. Taken myself and honorised for that 3rd place in the championship. And interestingly, he's replacing Fozzie, who last year absolutely dominated the GP2 Round. Unfortunately, started a new job, so obviously well done and congratulations to him. It does mean that he won't be here at probably one of his favourite races, as track extends turn 12 does Mr. Steve.
He almost loses it really bad there. I don't think that was a weave.
It's like as if he was weaving. Yeah. Let's slow round that final corner. 25.7 goes P8. Batchan also on the prime tyres, just ahead of him in P7. A 1:25.4 was his first lap.
Seems to be too many people on track at the moment. Looks like they're waiting for the last minute dash. Jamie gets a slight cut at turn 13 and track extend. So surprisingly there's only 2 people in the 23s at the minute. I thought there'd be more people within that sort of, well, time frame. There's a big difference from P2 to P3. 7 tenths. From a 23.9 to a 24.6. Even with Living Dead with a 27.5, must have been struggling really bad there.
Batchan on the prime tyres managed to go up to P5. That's pretty impressive on them prime tyres.
It's a good,
Crucially, is only a tenth behind Stewart.
good lap on a 24.8 on the prime.
Interestingly, me, the Living Dead 69 is at 1.3 behind Mr. Stevo, and I think that was on option tyres as well.
And I have a lagging awesome panda upside down. Brilliant. In his garage as well.
That's good for a host.
Alright.
That's good connection there from the host. I've got a black screen. Lovely.
Don't know why this track does that. It messes up qualifying really bad.
Well, I'm now on an outlet with Rusty Nuts. Going around the middle part of the middle sector. Coming up towards turn 9 and 10. And Fishbone has sent me a message.
What's he sent to you?
And Swish has said he'll be watching Dan and himself doing a Spa real race commentary this weekend. He's got the choice of David Croft and Martin Brundle from Sky Sports. You've got Edward and Coulthard from BBC. You've got Mark Croft and Fisk on Twitch this weekend, I believe. Oh, sorry, next weekend. So a Spa real life commentary. Anybody interested in that? Obviously, you go on Twitch over the weekend. Spa Grand Prix.
Be an interesting race that will with the whole new aero packages and getting rid of the frick suspension for some teams. I think might actually see a big difference between the Mercedes power engines there and the Renaults for sure.
Absolutely, and compared to Hungary where it's not quite a Red Bull track, it's more of a Ferrari and Mercedes track. It'll be interesting to see how close Mercedes and Ferraris are compared to where they were in Hungary, where Alonso crucially beat both the Mercedes.
I think it's just going to show the big difference between the two power units again.
XRL Bernie with 1 minute 13 seconds to go is coming around turn 14, potentially to start a lap time to get that crucial positions over some people.
Has he set a lap currently at the moment or not?
He hasn't yet, and does he set he's going to set a lap. He's going around the final corner. The DRS and curves activated.
Bernie was looking for a good result here tonight, so it'll be interesting to see if he can set a lap which can put him near the front runners. It looks like he's got way too much more of the curb. Yeah.
That's the problem with these
curves. He did tell me earlier that he wasn't going to qualify.
I'm not sure if he'll probably set this lap now because too much of that curb just damages time heavily. He's took those corners nice and cleanly.
The right track is down coming up.
Oh, he's 16 there, he had to downshift very heavily.
And another one 312.
He's cutting under there. And looks like he is going to set the lap.
24.3, that's impressive seeing as you got that much curve through turn 3.
See if Stuart can improve in his 24.7, which is miles off the pace from what I'd expect from him, from what's been seen in practice. He's gone wide and he's cut. Oh. So only 3 people went into the 123s. Are you surprised about that, Chris?
Well, with 3 people in the 123s, who is your prediction for the race win? Gracefish?
Who are the top 3?
Fat Chan, Magic Milk, and Jamie.
I'll go for Jamie.
So we've got 1 vote for Jamie. Jack, who is your race winner from these?
I'm gonna go with Magic Milk.
You're gonna go Magic Milk? Yeah, I know Fat Chan's had a problem with connection from Singapore, so I'm not gonna say Fat Chan. I am gonna go with Jamie. I'm gonna go Jamie.
I'll go for everyone. I know Stuart can actually be pretty quick in a race. It'll be interesting to see what he can do from so far down the pack, which is a big shock for him and for myself for watching. So, well, now let's have a guess as well. Who do you think can come back from outside the top 5 who could possibly look at a podium?
Outside the top 5, well, Stuart's got a very good chance down in 6th. Steve-O, we know he's very, very quick in GP3. It's going to be a test for him tonight on the prime tyres as well, so I wouldn't count him out either.
Yeah, I'd say probably Mr. Steve-O is definitely going to be in with a big chance of getting onto the podium come the end of the race. He's qualified on the primes, but he's probably, if he was on the options, he'd definitely be up with the front 3, so it'd be interesting to see how he actually plans out his strategy. Crazy Fish, who are you going for?
We've got Tom 65. We've got Tom 65 down in 13th, that hasn't even set a time.
Tom 625. He'll be another one to watch out for, having been previously in the F1 and a GP2 champion. Did he win it last season? Second, so one of Bernie's previous teammates, he'd definitely be up there and running for podium position as well.
Interesting, I'm surprised Dan actually qualified.
Don't know, I think it's probably a right decision for him. To get himself into 4th, how he's been struggling in previous races, is a good track position. Just whether he can keep his race pace as good as his quality now.
Crucially, can he keep out of any lap 1 incidents that people might have?
Well, hopefully there's none of them we have to worry about.
But I'll try watch the mid-pack anyway.
We'll be going to track shortly, be aware. Fire her up.
XRL Bobbits is predicting another Stuart dive bomb into turn 4 again. After last night's incident.
Yeah, just finding a mysterious bump in the middle of the
It is there, but he just found it at the perfect time, didn't he, to take everyone out.
And we are away here in India. Stewart's already up into P4 from 6th.
Oh, the Mercedes knocks off the cone there.
And he's had an awful start. He's got 3 cars right behind him.
Ooh, 4 wide on the
Living
straight.
dead as well.
Surprising that nobody's had big contact there. That's good. Oh, somebody's lagging already. Looks like a Williams.
Yeah, probably in unstoppable. Only going down the inside of turn 7, and he gets the move done. Tremendous move back up into P5.
That Williams looks like it's all over the place at the minute.
Oh, it's going to be another LGS taking off from Delhi Airport, I'm guessing.
Most likely, is it? No, it won't be Jamie, because Jamie's in a Mercedes, isn't he?
Yeah, Jamie's either second or third. Both Mercedes up there. Fat Chan and Jamie. Actually, Milk currently leads the Grand Prix.
Rusty has had a bad start, he's down in 13th.
Curves down that main straight, trying to defend from the Lotus. Lotus goes down the inside of turn 4, and Stewart takes off the bollard. And Stewart's gone all 4 wheels off the track.
Stuart is really struggling here under pressure from the Awesome Panda. Oh, Awesome Panda cuts turn 13.
We've got 4 cars scrapped just to get full place. Incredible.
As far as I already starting to see such a small group start to break away already from the sort of
Got a
back
battle
pack.
for the lead, and I believe a Mercedes has just taken the lead. The other Lotus of SA Kid is out of Bernie. He's going to get DRS along with Bernie, and he's already got...
The Red Bull has gone back past the Mercedes. Who is that? Is that Magic Milk in the Mercedes? Yeah, it is. Not the Mercedes, in the Red Bull, sorry.
Oh, Bernie's just been worried, and the Williams, down to 10th. Lost 3 positions at turn 4, absolutely.
So a lot of people track extending at the moment.
XRL Stuart is really struggling here to keep in touch with the front 3.
And Bernie's now down in P13. He's just overtook the car illegally, let him back through, and he's just been mugged by everybody else.
Mercedes just gone into the pits.
As has XRL Bernie on lap 3.
So really been struggling on those qualified options. A surprise, we weren't expecting most people to look to go in on lap 4 or lap 5.
Jamie now on the prime tyres on lap 4. Can he get anywhere with this? Good thing for Jamie is he's got lovely clean air in front of him. He can blow up the laps while everybody else is struggling.
There's a four-way battle at the minute for the back end of the points. Living Dead lets the Williams back through. Looks like he might have done an illegal overtake. And Rissinets has just gone past Living Dead on the grandstand straight. And he holds it nicely around the outside into turn 1.
Another person in the pits, and it is S.A. Kid. S.A. Kid has just come out ahead of Bernie. Jamie is doing things from Japan. He's doing a bit of Tokyo drift around turn 3.
Ooh, slight touch between the wheels, but they're keeping the white lines there. Living Dead just couldn't hold it up on the inside in sector 2. Tom625 is up to 7th on the primes. It's not too far away from the leaders, so he's looking in a good position here if he can put in some quick laps and still look to keep on to front of people when he pits.
Oh, Magic Milk gets out of a good bit in the pit stops.
Can Jamie get past? It looks like he will. And he does. Jamie is through. He's passed Magic Milks from the pit lane.
And I would say Fat Chan will probably pass him as well through the pit stops.
But maybe even S.A. Kid might have passed him in the pits.
Surprisingly, XRL Stewart's benefited quite a lot from that, as he's a lot closer than he was before he pitted to the front leaders.
And I better get started on my corner cutting.
And it looks like 2 more people have gone into the pits now as well.
Yeah, and a third one's just following as well in the Williams.
Who's lagging all over the place from what I've seen. SA Kid with DRS open on the main straight. Can you pull XR Stewart in, look for dive up the inside? He's just too far back, stays behind, see if you can get a better run on him. On the next main straight into sector 2. And he just kind of no curves, he hasn't got the drive. Keeps it nice between the white lines, it's nice to, well, it's good to see. Ooh, it is ran wide there at turn 10, 11 it is, I think it is.
Interestingly, Magic Milk is catching up to the back of Jamie now as the Rusty Nuts now goes into the pits, along with the race leader in the Ferrari, and now Jamie leads the race.
Ooh, XR shooter, big lock up in hairpin for the main straight. But he gets a good exit surprisingly, probably used a lot of his curves so he could get away from SA Kid. And he's just too far out of reach for an attack from SA Kid. Hasn't been much of a breakaway from the people at the front at the moment. They're all still quite close together in sight of everyone. Ooh, Magic Milk runs wide there. Oh, Magic Milk cuts turn 1. Might have a better run now on Jamie on the main straight. He's going to use most of his curves. Too far back again. Just needs to get a better run on him next time and he'll definitely be able to get past him.
We're 1/3 of the race through, and already we've got the first round of pit stops. When would you imagine the next lot of pit stops will be happening?
Wow, with people pitting on laps 3, 4 and 5, I'd expect it, well, to be looking at between lap 12 to 14 as, wow, primes are only going to last a good amount up till lap 9 and extending to 10 laps is going to be pushing it quite a lot from experience myself on tyre wear. But it'd be interesting if people will try and push that barrier of going to 10 or 11 laps, trying to then look for an option stint at the end. But how far can you sort of get them yourself? Are you looking at 9 laps or are you looking at further to go deeper into the...
I can get about 10 laps.
Personally, I feel by sort of lap 10 there's a big drop off in the time and you're just losing too much.
Yeah, that's the problem, but it means that obviously I can do 3 stops and get the option to the end.
Yeah, I suppose it's one of them for most drivers, whether they want to take that risk of maybe having a bad lap when the tyre wear does become too much for them, or taking the easy option of just the 3 primes.
As Jamie pits, 6 laps on them primes is pretty poor.
That's really surprising, that is. The only reason I can think what sort of pit stop is he looking at? He's looking at 4 or a 5 stop if he's going to keep on doing that with tyre wear that bad. Stewart now is starting to catch up to the leader of Magic Milk. It looks like he's actually finally settled into this race and got rid of his pre-nerves and he's looking a lot quicker now. Oh, Magic Milk runs wide there. How are you finding it, Chris, to keep the car in between the white lines? You find it difficult?
To be honest, there's only 2 places roughly where I'm going off track, if anywhere, and that's turns 11 and 12. And to be honest, the only time I'm ever going off the track is when I'm on at the end of my stint where I've got no grip on the tyres. So if I can do that tomorrow, then I'll be happy. If I can't, then I'll be disappointed. How about you?
Well, personally, well, I'm running a slightly completely different setup, which is out of the ordinary, but like you say, it's coming towards the end of stints where it's most difficult, obviously without the fresh tyres, it's more difficult, but for me it's mainly going to be sector 3 between turn 13 and 14, where if I get a bad sort of entry into there, then most likely I'm going to cut a corner, so that could probably cost me if I do that too much. But like you say, I might not think about qualifying and then actually have that grip where I should be able to keep it nice and clean in between the white lines. And
interestingly, Stewart went extremely wide through turn 3, as he's just corner cut through turn 7.
Ooh, and Magic Milk lags a bit. Magic Milk.
Fat Chan is right behind the 2 Lotuses, which are in P4 and P3. They're having a good race today. Oh, Fat Chan thought about going up on the inside of the hairpin for the main straight, which I'll stay behind and keep to the DRS, but the car in front of him, the Lotus, is going to have DRS as well. Ooh, and the Lotus in front of Fat Chan brakes very late, but he still managed to hold position. While this all happened, it looks like Magic Milk started to create a bit of a gap now to Stewart in P2. It's created a bit of breathing space, so he doesn't have to put too much pressure on himself. So, Chris, what are your aspirations for tomorrow? Are you going to be looking for a podium around here?
Yeah, I'm hoping to get a win anywhere, but last year I was very rough, let's say, on this track, so if I can get a podium I'll be happy.
And one of the Lotuses, the Lotus SA Kid is finally pitted. So I think that's after 9 laps, and it's going to put a set of the option tyres on.
Oh, he's gone back.
Oh, primes are a bit of a glitch there. Looks like the his crew had the options out ready for him. So how many laps would you be expecting on the options then on a fresh set? 6 or 7 laps?
For me, they'll probably be gone through halfway lap 7, so 6 laps comfortably. But obviously if you do qualify, then 5.5 laps and they'll be gone in the middle part of the lap on lap 6.
See if we can get to the battle that looks for like P5 and P4. Between the Ferrari of Mr. Steve, I presume that is, and the Lotus of Awesome Panda. Mr. Steve will be looking to pit very shortly. He's on the option tyre, and he's getting a bit wide down to turn 14. Can't keep it quite as tight through the penultimate corner. And he goes into the pit, he runs wide, so does Awesome Panda. Oh, they touch slightly. And all the front leaders are pitted. Oh, and the McLaren of XRL Stuart's been held up. Oh, it cost him a bit of time there.
Crucially, SA Kid is now ahead of all of them. In fact, XRL Bernie's now ahead of Fat Chan.
Bernie's got a good run on the shootout. Oh, he taps him.
Oh!
Bernie slowed down there. Now Fat Chan has got a good run. Can he get past Stuart as well? He's got looks like he's got a long gearbox there. Can he get the car stopped? Hits the bump a little and he runs wide.
And he runs wide.
Now Bernie's going to look at outside. Oh, it's a great overtake there by Bernie. Keeps it in between the white lines. It's a fantastic move. To keep it around the outside there, and he hits the next turn. He almost puts in a barrier. Fat Chan is all over the back of Bernie, literally in his gearbox.
Bernie track extends turns 15 there. Will Fat Chan do the sensible thing, stay behind here and get it to a turn 3? Or will he go and make the move here and allow Bernie to get DRS back? Stays behind.
I think Fat Chan's got a look to go past him because they're both going to have the DRS. It's going to be all down to the gearbox. Fat Chan's got a good run on Bernie here. Wow.
All these curves as well. That's a very powerful gearbox.
Let's have a lot of short gears.
That one later.
Yeah, he had a lot of short gears there, but looks at it, he got to his top speed very quick. Oh, and he cuts there and track extends. Appears to be a group of cars starting to malform in the midfield. Oh, it's a good move by Awesome Panda. Touches the wheels and Mr. Steve, but he already had a position, so it's a good overtake. Oh, and he No, he doesn't. He has lag. Just about to say runs wide into sector 2. Is that one of the leaders gone into the pits now as well? Is that Magic Milk?
It is, I think it's Jamie.
Jamie.
Yeah, nearly 7 laps this time on the final.
He must just be burning so much rubber on the exit corners by keeping his foot down the accelerator, because that's awful, making him overheat. Miss Steve now has got a run on the Awesome Panda. He's going to have DRS used 3/4 of his curves. He should make that an easy move on the option tyre. Going to turn 4. Gets the car stopped nice and early, too early.
Down on Stuart.
The Awesome Panda goes back around the outside, just good defending. Mrs. Steve there will not be happy with braking too early. Just getting stuck behind a slower car in front of him, cost him a lot of time. Steve is now under pressure from the car behind it, Jamie 2503, the fresh set of primes. Those 3 cars now battling for P5. Can Jamie get past both cars here in the main straight? He's going to use all of his curves, he doesn't. He's going to sit behind and allow the people in front to get on with the business. He doesn't open DRS. Steve again braking very early, putting himself back under pressure from the Lotus Awesome Panda. Can he get back around him on sector 2? He can't, as Miss Steve puts the car in the middle of the track. It's good defensive there by Steve.
Great overtaking moves by some of these drivers.
India's one of those tracks where it can be very difficult to overtake on, I'd say personally. Obviously you have the main straight, but then once you get past someone you can still then have the position taken back off you very easy on the next main straight coming into sector 2.
It's obviously also very easy to go wide and go off track where you can also get the brakes and cars can easily get past us. Jamie just taps the back of the Lotus and gets past him. However, he's given the Awesome Panda a perfect opportunity with DRS to get back past.
Can't tell if Jamie's having problems with DRS because it doesn't look like he's opening the DRS flap. And Jamie's got a run on Mr. Steve now on the main straight. Still not open that DRS, it's really surprising. Should be an easy move coming into turn 4, and it is. And Mr. Steve come back at him, no he can't by the looks of it.
Oh, Mr. Steve has gone off track and the Awesome Panda goes back through.
There's a battle for P3 now between Fat Chan and XRL Stuart. Fat Chan running a bit wide there in turn 14. got the DRS on the first straight. Just going to sit behind Stuart and look to go past him on the main straight. Will he have a look up the inside into the hairpin? No, just brakes nicely behind him to get a nice run on Stuart, who runs wide. Should be an easy move now.
Chris, would you guys watch a couple of people just at the back for corner cutting?
If you give us to the end of this lap, and then I'll do that, yeah.
Yep, it's grand, thanks.
Oh, and there's contact. Stuart just maintains position. It wasn't clean, but it was fair driving. He did give him enough room. Fatchan just ran a little wide. Fatchan is now put into P3 because Stuart almost lost it on the penultimate corner, putting it into the barrier. He's lucky to save the car there. Stuart's going to look to come back at Fatchan on the main straight. He locks up heavily into turn 3. Now looks like he's going to blast the rest of his curves, and he chooses not to, surprisingly. He's going to struggle to get past Fatchan here, who has a good gearbox in his car. Goes to the inside line defensively. And Stuart stick it around the outside, looks to cut back. Fatchan outbrakes himself, and it's an easy move in the end for Stuart. Put a lot of pressure on Fatchan there, and it was a good overtake.
Interestingly, Tom 65 is only in P11. He is really struggling here this week.
India's just one of those tracks, sort of Marmite, I'd say. Either love it or you hate it. And I think probably most of the drivers in XRL will be happy to see the backside of this track in the next game.
Yep, I'm one of them.
I'm actually not one of them, as this is probably one of my best tracks, I'd say, at the moment.
It's sort of like say Silverstone. It's like you don't like it, but you can be very good at it, or you absolutely love it, but yet you really can't.
Yeah, that's me. It's Silverstone. I love it, but I can't drive it. It's good to watch in real life, but on the air it's a different story for me. But I think that comes down to practice. I just don't enjoy driving it, so I don't practice for it.
I mean, I absolutely hate this track, but I seem to be pretty decent around here, so. Tom goes very deep into turn 1, goes off track, and that allows Tom Chambers
now
to pull away.
Two Mercedes catching back onto the leaders. That's a surprise to actually see Jamie back up there with the amount of pit stops he's done.
Again at the end of this. We've lost connection to Magic Milk.
Wow.
That is very harsh.
And while we lost connection to Magic Milk, Jamie done a very good overtake for the fast right-hander up the inside of XRL Stuart. Could be one for overtakes of the week. Done mad to keep up the inside there. And the Lotus pits. Who's that in the Lotus in the lead? It was SA Kid. And he goes on to the option tyre. 6 laps to go. Now it'll be interesting to see what Jamie can do. I presume that he's going to put the options on after this lap to try and compete with the people who's around at the front. Even with a lot of pit stops, he's still there, which I wasn't expecting. Were you expecting that, Chris? The amount he's had to do? race a big surprise how everyone's still close to each other. Most cars being on the main straight at the same time.
We've got Tom Chambers ahead of Tom 625 going around turn 4. We've got another 3 cars that have recently pitted behind them.
That's a good overtake by Mr. Steve, sticking around the outside at turn 4 alongside the Williams.
And Tom Chambers goes wide at turn 10. And again at 11. And Tom 65 does 12.
And Jamie has pitted from the front. Where's he going to come out compared to the leaders?
Well, you're not going to believe this, but XRL Bernie's in the lead.
Is he?
Yeah.
No way. He's going to be under a lot of pressure there with these people on fresh options behind him.
He definitely has one more stop to make.
Yeah.
SA Kid has taken the lead from XRL Bernie. That lead did not last.
No, he locks up.
And the two Mercedes are battling it out tremendously, as I believe Jamie has just passed his teammate through turn 4. Great overtake, but he's under pressure through turn 5 and 6. He managed to keep it through turn 7. He's now chasing down the Toronto of Bernie, going through 8 and 9 and 10. Coming through turn 11.
Mercedes are both battling hard against each other.
And he's got a great move on Bernie here, going through turn 13. A little nudge, he's forced Bernie off the track.
Not, it's close to a nudge. I don't know. It might just been a lot of pressure for Bernie, and he gave up the position. We'll have to find out about that later.
Well, his tyres are gone. He's pitting now.
I think that's a bad call by Bernie there. He's left his car way too long, and he's just going to be towards the back of the runners now. The question is, are the two Mercedes going to help each other to catch back up to the lead out, or are they going to battle it out and probably lose even more time? Mr. Steve currently in P7, having a look at the back of wheels of In Unstoppable.
Crazyfish, is there anybody you haven't covered yet?
I've covered 7 people so far, so who's left?
I've covered 1, 2, 3, 8. I've covered 8 people.
I've covered Jamie, Magic Milk, Stuart, Fatchan, Mr. Steve-O, Ian and Bernie.
I haven't done Ian, I've done Tom, 65, Awesome Panda, Fatchan, SA Kid, Stuart, Magic Milk, Jamie and Bernie.
That's nearly everybody then.
Tom Chambers yet to do, and Rusty yet to do.
You take one, I take the other.
I'll do Tom 65, not Tom.
And Jamie has now gone past to take the lead from the Lotus. Can he hold on, coming back into the next straight from turn 3 at the hairpin? Keeps in the white lines nice and clean. Lotus has no reply, doesn't look like had any kills saved up to attack back at him. SA Kid still manages keeping a DRS of Jamie. So now he comes up to turn 2 for the main straight. Can he keep in DRS and look to go for an overtake?
Living Dead, we haven't done yet.
The Living Dead near Rusty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can watch him as well when you're on board with Rusty.
And it looks like Jamie has now broke the DRS of SA Kid, who's under attack from the other Mercedes of Fat Chan. So could be looking at a 1-2 for both the Mercedes here.
Top 65 takes a bollard out of turn 4.
Now, is that bollard? Is it one of those where if it's broken and you hit it again, it ruins you? Yeah. There's no question, just I needed to clear before our race tomorrow. Oh, Fat Chan is right behind the Lotus. Lotus runs wide in turn 1. Fat Chan's already just almost close to getting past him before the DRS could be activated. It's a simple move on the main straight. Now can he force a gap to get away and break the DRS? Uses the rest of his curves, coming into sector 2. Lotus is too far back to have a look. And slowly but surely XR Stewart and P4 is starting to catch up. He could be looking for a late podium chance if he can put in a good lap now and on the last lap to have a run.
When Tom 65's just had a 1 second lag and he's right in front of Tom Chambers now. These two are going to be fighting because they're fighting for 1 point as Tom Chambers corner cuts through turn 7.
SA Kid, can he go around the outside turn 4? He breaks very late. Oh, it's too late. Can XRL Stewart now come and have a look to get the P3? He's got a good run. Is he going to do it? He has. He's got past him. Can he hold it? Keep hitting the white lines. Oh, just about to. He's got to slow down heavily. Hits the next corner.
Turn 7 though.
It looks like he might have let off the accelerator, so he didn't gain time there. So Lotus almost ran into the back of him.
Oh, and Dan gets past the Living Dead. Bit of contact. But he gets past to move into 8th place.
Fat Chan's gone wide and Stewart's gone up into 2nd.
As he ran out of fuel. It just slowed down really quick there.
Gone wide. It's like as if he's gone in pits and he's down into 4th.
Oh, can Stewart hold out?
He's in
Oh.
third.
And
Wow.
then Living Dead's going up. Living Dead's in 8th. I think that's Mr. Steve-O. He's dropping like a fly.
Hopefully you can do that tomorrow. This will be great for me and I Love Jigsaw. Bernie getting 7th place.
Well, that was an exciting last couple of laps, or last lap.
Yeah, that's out to see Stewart come from P4 and take P2. It's a great result for him.
And Dalton Panda has a 10-second penalty. Interesting. think we all know what that's for.
We've lost connection to Rusty. Well, as we get the top 3 in, got them all here, so we're going to start with the race winner. Congratulations, Jamie. This is your fourth first place finish in a row, not including the stewards' reports, obviously. But obviously, you were having a very dominant race, but tyre wear, was that an issue for you?
It was, so I elected to go with a 4-stop strategy. Qualified quite well. When the first couple of stints, when I was so far behind, like for example Stuart and Fat Chan, and I thought I just wasn't going to pull it off, but I mean probably I wouldn't have won if Magic Milk didn't lose connection, because I think he had a really good sized gap, which is unfortunate for him, but I'll take the win any day at this track.
Absolutely, and obviously a track where a lot of people did seem to struggle out there, which you wouldn't normally expect to see. So would you count this as a victory that you deserve, or do you feel that maybe you just got a bit lucky today?
If I'm honest, I think I got a bit lucky. Magic Milk just had the pace on me in qualifying and in the race. It was really unlucky for him to lose connection, but I'm happy with the win. I'm on a hot run of finishes just now, and hopefully I can keep that up till the end of the season.
Well, nevertheless, you did come first, so a big congratulations to you. Stuart, from 4th to 2nd on the final lap. That has to be one of the best final laps you'll ever do.
Oh, that was just quite incredible. I never thought I would be able to get the both of them in final lap of all laps, but if I'm being honest, both of them just thought it was time to give me a Christmas. Both went wide, and I just pounced upon their mistake. It looked like when I got SA Kid, it looked like there was a lot of controversy there. Like both U's were wide, both of the cars were wide, so I don't know what's happened there, but I'm very happy to snatch second in the last lap, of course.
But nonetheless, you did have a very comfortable ride. Obviously, qualifying, what seemed to go wrong? You were so far down, and we expected you to be up in the top 3.
I just guess I couldn't get a lap in. It was that third corner, kept getting it wrong, and I just couldn't get a lap in, really.
Well, I've just had a message from XRL Bobbers, and he says for me to tell you that you are a lucky boy.
It must have been his birthday.
I'm a legend. Yeah, I thought it was.
Maybe. But anyway, we're going to move on to 3rd place, SA Kid. Stuart passing you for 3rd place on the final lap. Did you imagine you could get the 3rd place back with Fat Chan going wide?
I thought I'd lost it completely. I thought I was going to settle for 4th. My tyres were gone, so I think what happened at the last corner, I was just really lucky because Fat Chan went wide and everyone just seemed to slow down. So yeah, lucky to take the podium. I think I'm in for a penalty as well. I think I was picked up on it before the race, so I'm not sure what's going on there, but I knew I just had to push really hard throughout the race.
Well, you did have a very comfortable race, and obviously you were up in the front lot for majority of it, so obviously a podium very much to do. And obviously moving on to next week in Abu Dhabi, do you feel that's another strong track for you?
It's another track that I don't like, but again, the target is to just race well. I know my quali pace is a bit of a weakness, so just race well, sort out my pit strategy and get another podium. That'll be the target.
Well, congratulations to you. And then finally, moving back to the race winner, obviously you've had 4 straight wins in the league. Can you make it 5 in a row?
Well, that's another question. I'm not too sure. I had a 2nd place in GP2 last season at Abu Dhabi. I certainly like the track. I'll be putting a lot of practice in for it, but I'm sure it certainly won't come easy if I get anywhere near the front.
Oh, anyway, congratulations to all the three of you. This is the end of the GP2 here in India. You can join us next week here on Monday, 8 PM for round 16 of the GP2 series at Abu Dhabi. Tomorrow night we do have GP3 and F4 on channels 1 and 2. You can check in with Swishbone and XRL Bobbits for the F4 stream on channel 1, and also F1 Speed and FIF Alonso on channel 2 for the GP3 race, which we'll see myself and I Love Jigsaws. And so Wednesday night we've also got the F5 stream and the Tier 6 divisions racing around India, 50%. So check in for them as well. And then obviously Thursday, Friday we've got the Grid Leagues, Endurance Racing, 40 minutes. Check out them on channel 1 and 2. And finally we have the Classics. We've got 2 rounds left. We've already got the champion LGS doing that, but the hot battle, 1 point separating top 2 for second and third to get in the race of champions before finally the F1 division on Sunday. Watch that live, 100% Abu Dhabi with Pete Marcroft and Dan Fisk, channel 1 and 2. However, for me, Jigsaws, Crazy Fish and the top 3, it is goodbye from us, and we'll